Hello everyone, and today I've challenged myself to sink every White Star Line ship in Tiny Sailor's World. Well, not the Tiny Sailor's World ships that I don't have. So, for first ship we sink is the Georgic from 1931. We set it to default. So, yeah. Now, let's sink. What should we... Fast sinking. Let's do... Starboard ship collision. Oh my god! Yeah, if the Tyrannic were to collide with the Georgic, Georgic will be sinking immediately. Oh god. I mean, I did select sink fast, but I forgot how fast Sink by Fast was, because it's been forever since I played this game. Because the latest update was an underwater update, aka this, and I'm like, why would I want to make an underwater update review? That's boring. So, yeah. Georgic. So not only I guess we can make a sort of new underwater review. So the ocean floor is no longer all just sand. It actually has stones/rocks. There's the wreck of the Georgic. I wonder why the font was changed to yellow. I prefer the white font. Anyways, time for the next ship. Which would be the original design for Olympic. Yes, this free funnel thing. V-split. Yes, the Olympic class was originally going to be a free funnel ship, but then swapped to 4 funnels. Oh wow. There goes the third funnel, there goes the second, and there goes the first funnel. Only the masts remain out of the water. Well, standing up. Power has gone out at the stern. Well, at this point, all power will probably go out. I think the stern might be prevented the bow from sinking. So the bow might have a few moments before fully sinking. Oh, never mind. It is gonna sink. But because of my leg, it's frozen. Oh, never mind. Get this out. Oh. It's a slideshow. Slideshow of the wreck. Oh. And there's the wreck of the original Olympic. What the son of a nutcracker was that noise? Let's go investigate. Looks like explosions. Next ship. Oceanic Free. Which I turned into the MS Sweden because of the evolution of the MS Sweden video I watched. Changed back to Oceanic Free. Of course, in my evolution of Oceanic Free, the ship survives and turns into a hotel ship, but This is what would happen if I sank the ship in my evolution video. Let's go boiler explosion. Boiler explode. I just like how the boiler explosion is the like classic Roblox exploding sound from like bombs and missiles in yeah. So yeah, sinking by the was sinking level, but now sinking by the stern. Gonna be nice and even on the keel. And there we go. Oh, this is actually interesting wreck. The ship is laying on its keel, but it's also kind of tilted sideways. Personally, for me, how I see Lusitania's wreck is Lusitania is on its keel, but also slightly turned. Kind of like here with Oceanic Free. Alright, next ship is the only Big 4 class ship in Tiny Sailor's world. That being the Adriatic, which I turned into Bluey. Yes, I watched the show Bluey. Don't judge me. Alright, how should we sink Adriatic? Let's go torpedo. Gonna be stern sinking or bow sinking? Bow sinking. And there goes the Adriatic. Oh, here comes the Royal Clipper. Well, there goes Adriatic, sinking outside of Southampton Harbor. And there goes the ship. Let's go see the wreck. And like expected, will fall on its side. So after Adriatic, we actually don't get a White Star Line ship after Berengaria and Aquitania, and that's when we get Georgic. No, Gigantic. Not Georgic, Gigantic. Fun fact, Gigantic was Britannic's original name, but then switched to Britannic, but this is Gigantic. This is pretty much what if White Star Line built. Gigantic. Here's the size comparison between the Titanic and the Gigantic. Don't think you're safe, Titanic. I'll be sinking you next. Halifax explosion. Kaboom! Halifax explosion in Southampton. So it's not the Halifax explosion, it's the Southampton explosion. So, Gigantic is pretty much if White Star Line built a fourth ship for the Olympic class, but just the size of Gigantic here. Oh, stern has impact, and the bow has all impacted. I mean, I get the hull is big for Gigantic here, but why do you need such big of a rudder? I mean, yes, Gigantic is a big ship, and you would need a big rudder to turn a ship, but what ocean liner that existed in real life has this big of a rudder? Oh, this is actually interesting. The bow is actually... The rusted stern is actually holding up the bow. Probably in real life, due to the way of the bow, the stern, this section of the stern would probably collapse in on itself. Next ship. Wait, something's happening. Wait, something's happened. Oh. So the bow So the bow... Nah, alright, so the bow was, well, just leveling even on the rusted stern, then suddenly became rusted. I wonder, can I push this off? It's rusted. It should be easy to push off by now. Come on. I thought I could just push the ship off to make it roll on its side. Oh, there we go. Push the ship off of the stern. Alright, let's sink the next ship. First Olympic-class liner. It's funny. Britannic was the last Olympic-class liner built. But we're doing the last Olympic-class liner ever built first. Congratulations, Britannic. Hello, good old Britannic. Should we sink in an RMS or HMHS? Let's do an accurate sink in. So switch it to HMHS Britannic and sink by simulation. Jump overboard. And now let the Britannic sink. Once again to the bottom of Tiny Sailor's World Ocean. But that's a pretty cool shot. That's actually a really nice, well, not nice because the ship's sinking, but think if James Cameron made another movie and remade the trash Britannic movie from 2000. That would just be a nice shot right there. That'd be a nice shot of the ship sinking right there. That would be a cool shot. But yeah, HMA. This is also what if Britannic sank at night. So this is the real-time sinking with sink by simulation. So that's why the ship's not going as fast as the other sinkings. Oh yeah, I'll also be making the tutorial of how to make the 2000 Britannic movie, like how we did for the 2007 Lusitania movie. So look out for that tutorial when it comes out. It looks like the sinking has stopped. Oh, never mind. There it goes. Britannic's going. She's going. As the last funnel collapses and power goes out. I feel like power would have gone out a little earlier, but oh well. I still think it's interesting how Britannic's stern well deck had to be enclosed. Like, why couldn't it still be open? And the funny thing is, when people make models of the RMS Britannic, the RMS Britannic's stern well deck is just closed because the people just repainted HMHS Britannic into the RMS Britannic. So personally for me, when I make my RMS Britannic in Minecraft, I like to have the stern well deck open, like Olympic and Titanic. Anyways, I think it's actually cool that Britannic had like these green lights hanging from the superstructure when it sailed at night. And there's a wreck of the Britannic. We all know it. Alright, now we don't get a White Star Line. I keep saying that, and a White Star Line vessels always appear. Anyways, now we're gonna sink the Homeric. Let's do a sinking I have not done in a while. And that will be sink by fire. Fire? Where's fire? Oh, there's fire. Yeah. And as you can see, Homeric rolling over as it's engulfed in flames. Rolling over to its side. Rolling over to its side. Queen Elizabeth / Normandy style. As an Olympic class liner sails past, watching another White Star liner sinking to its final resting spot. You know, whenever I try to sink the Normandy accurate, you know how long it literally takes me just to have Sink by Fire roll the Normandy over? It takes a good amount of attempts, because most times when they sink Normandy by Fire, it always sinks level. It's very rare to have the ship roll over when you sink by fire. Oh. Unfortunately, we don't get to see the wreck of Homeric. But I guess that sinking was if Homeric ended up like Costa Concordia and sank sideways, but also sank beside an island. Teleport back to Southampton and move on to our next White Star liner, which is the Majestic. Originally known as Bismarck. No, not the battleship Bismarck. This Bismarck. Because this livery right here is one that was in the German livery, but this is all about White Star Line, baby. We did starboard ship collision, so now let's do port. Oh god, Queen Mary coming in. Boom. Queen Mary, you were not even around the time when Majestic was around. Anyways, RMS Majestic / SS Bismarck now sinking to the bottom. I mean, if the ship would split. Oh. Well, it kinda gave me the 2000 Britannic movie vibes when the Britannic rolled over. Let's see if I can get my camera to see some of the interior. Oh, I saw. Okay, I can kind of see a bit of it, but because of the rolling, it's kind of hard to fully see it. But yeah, Majestic sinking. And now, according to my calculations, the ship will now sink by the bow. And then slowly but surely sink. And there goes the rest of the stern. Alright. The wreck of the RMS Majestic. And there it is. Alright, next one. Oceanic. The second Oceanic. How should we sink Oceanic 2? Just a classic sink by bow. classic sink by the bow. How a classic ship would sink. Just a simple forward trim. Here at this angle, it just looks sorta normal. You wouldn't really tell the ship would sink unless... But, I mean, if you were sitting here, you wouldn't really tell the ship would be sinking. Yeah, the bow is closer to the water, but it really would look like the ship is not sinking. Oh, well, bow's sinking. As B deck and A deck will now start to flood. There goes funnel number 1. I'm jumping off. Funnel number 2. And ship has broken too. Fortunately, there's no interior with this build, so you can't see any of the interior. Closest thing we'll get to interior on older builds is promenades. And there goes Oceanic 2. Fully vertical like the 1997 Titanic movie. And there goes Oceanic 2. Last thing remains is the fantail, and there she goes. Now sinking. Oh, I thought the stern there for a moment was gonna land on its side there. Alright. Time for the Olympic. Good old Olympic. Yes, I know. I've made plenty of what if Olympic sank. This is like, what, the third time now? Jesus. Oh. Sinking by the stern now. Don't know what that explosion was for sink by stern, but yeah. Olympic, pretty much doing the backwards Titanic sinking, as Lusitania is sailing off in the distance. So, yeah, Olympic doing the backwards Titanic sinking just without the split. And there goes the Olympic. Oh. Guess the water was really shallow there, that's why she just, Olympic immediately dropped there. Alright, next one, Titanic. Which, okay, here we are, classic Titanic. You know, we got Titanic. You know we have to do a classic sink by bow with a split. Because that's the classic Titanic way to sink. Sink by bow with a split. Wow, she's rolling side to side, which is accurate. Titanic did have a list, but then did go back to an even keel. Most people think the ship just sank at an even keel, while in reality, Titanic did sink with a list. See? Even though I'm into aviation, even though I'm into planes now, I still got my ship knowledge. Well, I'm not really into aviation anymore because last thing I've been uploading, you know, if you're subscribed to me and you get a new notification saying, oh, I wonder what my channel uploaded this time, all you would just see, Baldi videos, and plenty of sup to Baldi. Just plenty of Baldi, man. I just started to get back into Baldi because people have been been playing a lot of mods, man. I swear. The only Baldi mods that are popular that aren't number swap are either the math is leaking, Baldi's doppelganger, Baldi's the Baldi's house mod that BG Mike and PGHL films played, and 30/50 null challenge. Those are the only nulls. I mean, those are the only Baldi mods that are popular that aren't damn number swap mods. And when I was, and get this, you can't even play Ninium Ultra Microscopic Ninium Ultra Microscopic Silicon Volcanoconiosis anymore because Shadow trashed the mod because he was getting known as the Ninium guy, and I understand that. Like if you make a mod and then all of a sudden you're just known as that guy who made that mod. Like, I get it. If you haven't watched Kinexon's video of when he played -3, if you go watch it, he'll explain why Shadow trashed Ninium. But don't worry, to any Baldi player who downloaded any version of Ninium, you can still play Ninium. Alright, here we are, SS Atlantic. Because you saw we get disconnected with Titanic, but yeah, we have Atlantic now. Let's go Poseidon mode and just sink by capsize. Leg. Oh. Is she gonna roll? There she goes. Poseidon adventure mode. And either her wreck is gonna be upside down or on her side. If Atlantic decides to sink, which she is. Yeah, there she goes. Sinking upside down like the 2006 Poseidon. How is the wreck gonna look? Is Atlantic gonna be on her side or upside down? Let's find out. Looks like her wreck is upside down. Go figure. Now, we don't get a White Star Liner for a while now. So, let's just scroll to the next one. Which technically would be the SS Titan. If you just switch the funnels to the White Star Line funnels, so... Yeah, technically the next ship is the Titan, which did protect Titan did protect Titanic, as you can see. Titan, iceberg. You know where this is going. Just like Titanic's story. But because we're frozen, because of my leg, I'm not getting any closer to the iceberg. Oh, okay, now we're getting closer to the iceberg. And, yeah, you already know where about this is gonna go. Ship has scraped iceberg. Yeah, originally, Titan sink by simulation would just be Titan sinking by the bow and rolling over. But then, Titan sink by simulation did get updated, where Titan gets hit by the iceberg, then rolls over by the bow. So yeah, as you can see in the distance, whoa, all four funnels going at once. But yeah, as you can clearly see in the distance, there's a blue White Star Liner over there. Looks like Olympic class. But yeah, there goes Titan. I I just want to check out this, blue ship right here. The Grant Line Modern Liner. I'm not sure that's such a modern liner, buddy, if it is. Oh. It is a modern liner because it does reuse Titanic too, so yeah. As you can see, there's the SS Titan over there. Now our next White Star liner is the big boy, the Tyrannic, which is Blue Speed 2. Originally, Blue Speed 2 was the Gigantic, but then I made a scrapping video. But then I made a video where I brought Blue Speed 2 back, aka the Titan. Now, because I don't want to reset this, because it is part of my star line, we're gonna sink Tyrannic in this livery. Sink by D-Split. Nice. Tyrannic is also the only ocean liner that had 5 funnels besides Great Eastern. There goes the Tyrannic, sinking to the bottom. And there we go. And there's the wreck of Tyrannic right there. Alright, next ship, which would be the Romantic, which I've turned into the Nantucket. If you haven't seen my Nantucket tutorial I have uploaded, go check it out. But yeah. But I might also remake my Nantucket tutorial because, well, Nantucket is not the size of Romantic. So yeah, I might remaster the Nantucket tutorial soon. And what should we do? Sink by stern with a starboardless and a split. So yeah, Romantic now going down by the stern. You know a ship I hope that gets added to Tiny Sailor's World? I really hope the RMS Republic gets added to Tiny Sailor's World. I mean, yes, we do have the Romantic, which you can just customize into the Republic, but I would really like it if we do get the Republic in the game. That was interesting. The bow of the Republic landed on the stern, became rusted, and then slid off the bow, the stern of Romantic, and now this is the wreck. Alright, next ship. Which is the Teutonic. But the Teutonic is now the Hammond because of the tutorial I did, which is, this is the Hammond from Train Guy 64's Death of the Hammond video. So, yeah. So, I'll set it back to our good old Teutonic. Although the Hammond livery that you saw earlier is pretty similar to this livery on Teutonic, just without the guns. Because for the Hammond livery I made it fully gray using the peacetime livery, not the war livery. Anyway, looks like a ship already sank, but little do they know. I guess Sink by Stern was updated because an explosion happens after you sink by the stern. After you select Sink by Stern, which is interesting because I don't know what would cause an explosion to sink by stern. But anyways, there goes the Titanic. There goes Titanic. Which reminds me, I might actually make a tutorial of how to make the RMS Majestic. Not the 1914 one. The RMS Majestic that was sisters with the Titanic. Anyways, next White Star Line vessel, if there even is one. No, the Titanic is our last White Star. The Titanic is our last White Star Line vessel. But don't worry, Titanic may be our last White Star Line vessel, but there is a bonus White Star Line vessel that I custom made using the Queen of Bermuda. Yes. I use Queen of Bermuda to make a White Star Line version of the Queen Mary. Well, technically it's a mini version of the Queen Mary, because Queen of Bermuda is pretty much a small version of Queen Mary. So, yeah. We will sink the White Star Line version of the Queen Mary. I know Queen of Bermuda, not a White Star Line ship, but it's in a custom White Star Line livery for what if Queen Mary was owned by White Star Line. So, pretty much how I made my what if Queen Mary was made by White Star Line is because I just thought of what if Cunard Line never existed. So after I thought of what if White Star Line, Cunard Line never existed, I just thought of if Cunard Line never existed, then Queen Mary would be part of White Star Line. And that's how I made the custom White Star Line version of Queen Mary using Queen of Bermuda. Also, my what if White Star Line owned the Queen Mary was also based off of the Queen Mary White Star Line image, which I'll show you after we sink Queen Mary here. If I can just get in the damn captain's seat. There we go. And to end the video, to end the sinking off, let's do a nice rogue wave. And there goes the White Star Line Queen Mary. Formerly known as Queen of Bermuda. And there's a wreck. Okay, now I'll show you that image. This is the image I'm talking about of what if Queen Mary was owned by White Star Line. And then that's how I made my White Star Line Queen Mary using Queen of Bermuda. Bye!